I think misinformation about the female experience is just really rife everywhere. And that's something that I have noticed, since before I was focusing on the abortion beat. That's like a huge thing. I'm just bringing that up as an aside because I think it relates to the general lack of knowledge that there is in this country, and again in many, many other countries, about like fundamentally the vagina, female sexual health, reproduction, all of these things. Like I did a massive, like a really big like investigative feature a few years ago about people having forced hymen checks in America. So like this myth that your hymen breaks when you lose your virginity, and the way in which that myth just continues to haunt people in this country because people want to prove that their daughters or their wives or their girlfriends are virgins, and they do this hymen checking thing. Myths around the clitoris, female pleasure, female illnesses like endometriosis, whether or not they exist. I think that there is just, if there's one thing that I've learned throughout the time that I've been a reporter, is just when it comes to women's health, when it comes to women's pleasure, when it comes to women's sexual autonomy or bodily autonomy, there are just so many myths, and a lot of them are to do with the way that we try and control the female body or decide what the female body how it should respond to things and how it feels things. And contraception is like a massive one of them. A lot of people are still told by their doctor when they go on the pill that they have to take a week off to have their period. It's like actually not true, but this is like a part of how backwards our medical establishment is, that we still buy into that theory. So it's really widespread. It's not just about abortion. I have found it really shocking and surprising being on the abortion beat in America, some of the types of misinformation I hear. Like the number of places that I've been to where it's even hard to report sometimes because I'm trying to show both sides on an important ballot initiative that's gonna decide on whether or not abortion gets enshrined in a state's constitution. And on one side, a lot of the things that people are saying to me are wrong. And so we actually can't publish them because they're misinformation. But it's kind of important to publish them because it's also important to show what people believe. So like the number of people who've spoken about like live dismemberment, that's like a big thing that I've heard while I've been out reporting. That it's common for babies to be dismembered while they're living during an abortion. Like that's a really common thing. The number of people who believe that it's really common to have very late term abortions in this country, and just because people simply choose to, like that's not actually true. Abortion is incredibly restricted in most states compared to other places in the world. Like actually, like America is not an incredibly permissible country when it comes to abortion, and yet people think in so many places that I go to that people are having abortions at like 7 months because they change their mind. The number of people who believe that abortion is used as a form of contraception, and what I mean by that is that they think that it's the most common reason for people having an abortion is that they just changed their mind and decided not to use a condom, and then had to deal with the consequences. And so many people don't realize that like a huge proportion of the people who have abortions are already parents, that they are people in their like middle age. They're not 15-year-olds. So many people that have abortions are having them in the first 10 weeks of pregnancy. So those, I mean, the more extreme ones, as I said, they're always kind of shocking to me. The fetal heartbeat thing to me is very shocking because it's said in news all the time now. And we just know, you know as news that is not, I know it's been turned into law, but we know that there is not a heart at 6 weeks, and yet it's so regularly mentioned as if that's what you're hearing. And sometimes I'll even speak to doctors who are used to this terminology. It's not that they it's not that they validate these theories, but that will use this kind of language because it's the norm. That's the other thing that I see a lot that I find quite surprising.